Hi, my name is Greg Nance, founder and CEO of Dia.com, welcoming you back to our video tutorial series on creating a great admissions strategy. Today we'll be talking about how to make an excellent personal statement covering three specifics. Number one, common mistakes that we've got to avoid when writing our personal statement. Number two, the best practices, the things that we definitely need to do when writing a personal statement. And then third, how to get started by writing an outline for our personal statement for best results. Let's start at the top here. The common mistakes that we've got to avoid. Now, I've literally read thousands of personal statements now over the last 6 years. I've written a number of them as I've gone, and the same mistakes keep popping up, which unfortunately lead to rejections for many, many students, and those successful have found a way to avoid these. Number one is the generic introduction. The generic introduction. Hi, my name is Greg Nance. I'm from Seattle. I want to go to Cambridge University because it's prestigious. That introduction sounds like hundreds of others in the applicant pool and will lead to a very, very simple and easy rejection. Why? Because this applicant didn't stand out. They blended in with everyone else. Remember, as we've talked about inside the admissions office, admissions officers are actually reading a stack of essays this tall, one by one by one by one by one. It's daunting. They have so much work to do. So it's really easy if you read a boring first paragraph, literally throw away the application. We've interviewed admissions officers. That's common. They might spend just 10 seconds on your entire personal statement that took you weeks to write if you've got a generic introduction. Now, also quite common are an unspecific set of reasons, very generic reasons for applying to a university. An example of that is Cambridge is prestigious, or Harvard is famous, Stanford has a top ranking. Reasons like that, they're boring. They don't show why you actually want to go there, and therefore are very, very uncompelling. In fact, with those reasons, you give yourself a very small chance of earning the favor of an admissions officer. Very, very bad. The third common mistake is a tone that's off. Frequently, writers are too arrogant in their draft. And this is why I should be at Harvard, is a little bit of the tone. It's arrogant, it's a little bit brash, it's I deserve this, and it's too forceful. And an admissions officer reading that says, no thank you. But equally bad is a tone of begging. Please, 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 Harvard. That tone also is no good at all. It's much, much, much better to find the happy medium, and that is confident that you can actually contribute at a place like Harvard, confident that you will make the campus life, academic life, social life better and stronger with your life experiences, but not so cocky or arrogant, and certainly not begging either. It's a balance, it's a blend, but it's a common mistake that you seek to avoid. Now, those are three things that you don't want to do. You don't want a generic introduction, generic reasons for attending the school, and you don't want to beg or be arrogant. That much is clear. Now, let's look at it from the other vantage. What are the best practices that we need to be using as we write our personal statement so that it's truly excellent? Number one, let's start at the top. It's all about a terrific introduction that grabs the reader's attention. The best introductions are those that a reader says, wow, I want to read the second sentence, the second paragraph, and I want to get all the way to the end. Those are going to be the best essays of all. And if you can figure a way to do that, you have a huge advantage because you have the reader's attention. They're really bought in on what you're trying to tell them, and they're focused on you and your story. That's really powerful. So how to do that? Number one, think about the big moments in your life. The moment where you learn something important about yourself. Maybe it was the epiphany when you decided to study this particular subject. Or maybe it was the moment where you realized, this is the kind of leadership that I seek. Or maybe it was that moment during a volunteer project where you realized part of your purpose on this planet, or a newfound passion. The more you can zoom in on that one moment, you can tell a really rich story about that. And you can share it from multiple angles, and you can really draw someone in to that story. That's really, really powerful. And so avoiding cliches and the generic and really focusing on one particular moment can be a powerful way for you to actually open that personal statement. The second best practice that we need to stay on top of is being very specific about why this university is the right fit for us. Really, 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 really important. And so often students neglect that. Now, how to actually do this? Well, I'll give you an example. I was applying to the University of Chicago for my bachelor's study. And in the course of my research about different schools, I made a specific set of bullet points around why U Chicago. I learned about its informal motto, the life of the mind, which is all about using your brain and developing your analytical abilities to solve challenging problems, both theoretical and practical. I learned all about that. It was exciting and it helped me to understand just what I wanted to accomplish during my bachelor's life. I spoke about this. I spoke about this. I'm just going to keep going, and we're going to cut that out. I don't actually know what pitch even is. What do you mean?
The pitch, the diet service, help us PS.
Okay, cool.
Forgot that last.
Let's have, maybe a signal.
Okay.
Like, give me the pitch, for instance.
Money.
Yeah, cool. Let me give you an example. I was applying to the University of Chicago for my bachelor's degree. And as part of this, I researched University of Chicago and started making a list of various aspects and attributes that I wanted to actually highlight during my personal statement. So for example, I researched a couple of professors that I really, really wanted to take classes with. Classes with professors like Charles Lipson, John Mearsheimer. Wow, these are really famous professors and I want to take classes with them. Here are the specific classes that I want to take with them. 20th century world politics, American grand strategy. I listed those out. I also listed the name of a few really famous coffee shops on campus and a few campus gatherings, along with 3 different clubs that I wanted to join, like the Blue Chips Investment Club and the Student Government, which I wanted to become a part of. The result of that research, spending time on the university webpage, the student newspaper, looking at more on forums, and actually speaking to one of my mentors who was a University of Chicago student, gave me the insight required to write a really, really compelling, specific essay for the University of Chicago. That made all the difference. Because of that, the admissions officers were confident that I actually would have what it takes to contribute, to make a difference in the classroom and on campus, that I was passionate about actually going to the University of Chicago and making a big impact while there. A mentor made all that difference, and that's why here at Dyad, our mentors are from the world's top universities, and they'd love to help you understand what is so special about this campus. What about UPenn culture? What about NYU or University of Michigan or Stanford, MIT, Oxford, Cambridge is so special, is so unique? Giving you the insights you need to write a great personal statement, to find the right analysis so that you show admissions officers that you really want to be there, that you really care enough to do so. That's really, really critical, something that most students don't do, and that's why it's a best practice. The final best practice is showing what you're going to do with this great education, showing that you have ambition, that you have energy to do something significant in the world. Universities view admissions as investment. Who are we going to invest all of these resources and efforts into? You want to show that you're an investment worth making, and you do that by demonstrating that you have a big vision and you've got the energy and you've got the enthusiasm to make something big happen. The more you're able to demonstrate that in your personal statement, the stronger your application is going to be. So think about the big goals that you have. Brainstorm them with your Dyad mentor so that you're able to list out, hey, here's what I want to do with my Cambridge University business degree. I want to start a company that's going to solve a really big challenge in global education. We want to grow that company, eventually list it in an IPO on NASDAQ, become one of the strongest education companies on the planet, and then after that, become a philanthropist and solve really challenging education access challenges across the world. I wrote a little bit of that in my Cambridge University personal statement. And I think that made a big difference, where all of a sudden, I'm not just another applicant, I'm someone with a really big vision that really wants to make the most of my Cambridge education. You too can do the same here. So we've talked about common mistakes, we've talked about best practices. How do I get started? This is all still a little confusing, a little challenging. I agree. I've written a lot of personal statements. The first step can be the hardest. The place where we've got to get started is actually zooming in and keeping it really, really simple. And the way that we suggest is actually the outline. The outline is an extended brainstorming exercise where actually you think about different ideas that you have for the introduction. You think about different ideas for why you want to apply for this specific program. You think of different stories that you might want to tell. You think of different ways that you might want to conclude your essay. You think of different ways that you can show your ambition and your energy as you go. And as you write out these different ideas, and I suggest you use your Diad pen to do so. That's one fun way to get these ideas on the page. You can then start sorting them and categorizing them, actually ordering them out. And then, and only then, do I suggest you use your computer to actually start typing anything at all. So that outline phase where you brainstorm and get ideas down on the page helps you ensure that you're talking about a lot of the right stuff. Because so often we get started writing, and 5 or 6 pages later, what have I even done? This has nothing to do with the right strategy. Now I'm even more stressed out, even more anxious. We can avoid that with the right strategy from the beginning. And the way I suggest it is starting with an outline. I realize this is still confusing. There's a lot to cover here. Make an appointment with us here at Diad. We'd love to give you a complimentary Diad review where we learn more about your background and actually help you begin piecing together the outline. Because once you have the outline, the rest can fall into place. And with a Diad mentor assisting you at every step of the way, your first draft is going to be stronger, your second draft, your third draft, your final draft is going to be polished in your own words, and you're going to become a better writer by working with an expert from here at Diad. It'd be our honor and privilege to guide you because your personal statement is the one opportunity you have to write directly to the admissions office. You want to tell your best story, and it's not easy. It's a big challenge, but with the right mentorship, you can do it. And we're happy to support you.